It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birds of party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined tonight by Matthew Moreno, and it's good to be back in this chair doing this show. And ho-hum, Matt, another Dodgers victory. The bullpen, as expected, holds it down in a one-run game, and the magic number's down to 6.
Yeah, Jeff, you're not going to dodge the allegations that you're only here for their wins. That's starting to stack up a little bit, and now here we are. They win tonight. Magically, you're back on the show. But first, of course, it's great to have you back. Second, I think I have a question, and maybe the chat can answer this for me. How is Jeff not in a Clayton Kershaw T-shirt tonight?
It's fair. It's a fair question. It's a fair criticism. I usually have my stack of Dodger shirts next to my desk. I hate to blame my 4-year-old, but I'm going to blame my 4-year-old. I have no idea where those shirts are. We've got 2 Ohtani options down here. Vin Scully, Freddie Freeman on the back of the chair. I confess to you, I own like 3 or 4 Dodgers jerseys. I don't own a Clayton Kershaw one. Somehow we've got Gagne. We've got Mookie Betts with the gold lettering from 2020. We've got a Freddie Freeman 2024 World Series jersey. And then we have the blank one I've had since I was in middle school. Actually, that's a lie. I do have a Kershaw jersey that was a giveaway a million years ago. So we are doing breaking news right here, by the way. We're going to do a live show tomorrow night. And my commitment to you and to everybody is that I will be wearing a Kershaw jersey or shirt of some sort. I might be crying, but beneath the tears, you might see a Clayton Kershaw jersey.
So I'm going to be at the stadium tomorrow night, but I will pull up the live show, and I will make sure that we don't do any interviews in the clubhouse until I can verify that Jeff is in a Kershaw jersey, it sounds like, or a T-shirt tomorrow night. And once I can verify that, then I'll let Kirsten and all the reporters know that, yes, okay, we can go ahead. We can proceed with the interviews.
I see Iris saying Kershaw should be my first jersey. With all due respect, Iris, I'm old. And so Clayton Kershaw, when I was purchasing my first jersey, was not in the major leagues yet. So I appreciate that I look young. We should also add that our guy Bruce is not here. He's not feeling well. So he has not been optioned to AAA in order to make room for Roki Sasaki in the rotation. That move has not been made. So, Bruce, hopefully you feel better. But we'll have him back next week for sure. So, tons to get into tonight. We are going to talk Roki Sasaki, by the way, who made an appearance for Oklahoma City as a reliever. We'll talk about how that went. We'll talk about Kyle Hurt as a guy who maybe he works his way back into the bullpen conversation. Obviously, the Clayton Kershaw news we will get to today as well. But we're going to talk about this one as well. The Dodgers win 2-1. I would say in maybe the ugliest fashion that you could possibly win a game, 2-1. They strand a couple runners in scoring position towards the end of this game. They walk, wait for it, 10 Giants tonight and allow just one hit and somehow figure out a way to win this game. So it was not pretty, but folks, a win is a win is a win is a win. So let's start with some super chats. We've got a bunch of these. Aaron with the first one. Bullpen walks a colony, but only allows 1 run. Improvement. Roki should get an opportunity. He has the stuff to come in for a 1-inning spurt. We're going to get to Roki here, but Matt, he mentions it. Yamamoto struggled. 6 walks by him. Jack Dreyer finishes off the 6th inning. And then to say things went sideways, I think would be disrespectful to the term sideways, because Michael Kopech comes in, walk, wild pitch, walk, strikeout, immediately taken out. I mean, they had guys warming up, I think 2 pitches in to Kopech's run saying, we need this guy out after 3. Treinen comes in, walks in a run, 2-1, then gets a strikeout and another strikeout to get out of that one. So 4 walks in 1 inning from Kopech and Treinen, including one with the bases loaded, and they get out of it with just 1 inning. That was a perfect summation of how bad the Dodgers' command was tonight, Matt, as well as how terrible the Giants were offensively.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you want to look at the box score, the Dodgers gave up 1 run and 1 hit. So in my eyes, the pitching did its job tonight, and they got a win. So
Yeah, wait, see, look, Matt, even Matt, walks have become a nerd stat to Matt. Just runs and hits, baby. That's all we care about.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, the umpire didn't help matters back there tonight, and I did see people kind of commenting with each other before as we were getting ready to go live, saying, while the Giants I don't know, let me pull up how many walks the Giants pitchers ended up having. Yeah, so just one by Logan Webb. Some of that I think you can attribute to Patrick Bailey. I'm surprised, Jeff, you're not taking this as another opportunity to jab Benny Rowe. I know he's on your list of. We haven't figured out if he's ahead of you hating cheese or behind you hating cheese. I know Miguel Rojas has come off that list, so big there a couple weeks ago. But for some reason, you got it out for Benny Rowe. I think Will Smith is still going to start. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna reserve my thoughts on Ben for later. I was praising him today. He did not hit into a double play with Miguel Rojas on first. I did not criticize him for screwing up the bunt because I don't care. As long as he doesn't get 2 outs on 1 hit play, I'm good with him. The pitching has been good. I'm not here to debate how much of that he deserves, but let's stay positive here, Matt. The Dodgers won. Okay, the Dodgers won. I'm not going to blame him for 10 walks. We'll say that. How about that? Bacon Tree. Offense went pretty limp today. Yama, terrible command, but got good run prevention. Fire Kopech and Trinan into the sun. Bring on Hurt and Roki. You mentioned the Dodgers offense, 5 hits, 1 walk. So 11 base runners for the Giants, 6 base runners for the Dodgers, but they get enough. It's 2 doubles from Ohtani. It's an RBI single perfectly timed by Freddie Freeman as well. And they did just enough to get two runs across the board, which was enough for this win. I've said it. You need 2 out of 3 things to go right. Your starting pitching, your bullpen, and your hitting. They got 2. It wasn't pretty on the starting pitching and relief pitching, but 2 of the 3 did their job, and the offense just enough.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, like there's out of those 3 groups, if you will, there's 2 that you can count on right now, and the other one you sort of know that you're in, like you're gonna have to buckle in and just kind of hope things work out. But yeah, I mean, look, at this point, wins are wins, and it's kind of the Dodgers are pretty. We know they're not going to get. I mean, mathematically, it's still possible, but we know they're not going to get the number 2 seed in the National League. So it's at this point, do what you can to win these games, win these series, get your spot in the playoffs, get your spot. Wrap up the NL West, and then shift your focus to October.
Yeah, absolutely. Just out of curiosity, in here it said fire Kopech and Trinan into the sun. Am I crazy for still believing in Blake Trinan?
No, I'm there with you. And I think some of it is like we've seen him, pitch well. He is going through a rough stretch right now. At least for me, I don't want to speak for you. The other also side of it is the reality is the Dodgers don't have a bunch of other options right now. And I know we're going to get into, maybe Roki Sasaki, maybe Kyle Hurt, and that's great. Kopech, first of all, nobody should be fired off into the sun. That's dangerous. We would not advise that.
Not advising that.
But Kopech's outlook, role, roster spot, however you want to call it, however you want to word it, is getting a little shaky. And I mean, it's one thing if maybe he comes in and he's getting knocked around for some reason and they can make some adjustments, but he's been walking guys. We saw it on his rehab assignment. We've seen it now with him back with the Dodgers and in the playoffs. Like that's not, I know I say this tongue in cheek, Blake Snell might disagree, but you can't get away with walks in the playoffs. Like those will come back to haunt you.
Yeah, I'm with you. By the way, I see some people saying my mic doesn't sound that good. We do have a new mic setup. It's coming from the top now. We were hopeful. We didn't see any comments complaining about it, but now a couple people have complained. So if my mic doesn't sound great, it's hard for us. Everything sounds good on our end. Matt hears me fine. So if it's bad, let us know and we can try and tweak some stuff. But I'm with you on Kopech. I don't think he has enough of a resume to withstand everything that he has put on tape thus far. Like I think Trinan the leash has to be a little bit longer because of just how good he has been when stuff sort of when the chips have been down. I'm still forever going to talk about the 7 outs that he got in Game 5 because it was heroic stuff from him. So he ends up getting out of it. He does get the 2 strikeouts. So there we go. I love it. Half the chat says my mic sounds fine, and then the other half says it sounds terrible. So There we go. Apologies. We'll work on it as we go here. A couple more super chats here. 300. The bullpen is going to kill me in the postseason. Yes, they might, but they won tonight. They won tonight, Matt. Positivity up and to the right, baby.
That and I have already put together the pitching staff trust tree that the Dodgers are going to rely on in October. It's a name of, I think, 8 or 9 guys, and that's the group that's going to carry them through.
Okay, there you go. I mean, Oral was saying tonight, like, basically, you just need 4 of these guys.
That's what got me thinking about it. So it's pretty much it's the starters, that you've had in your rotation right now. Plus, I'll throw Trinan in there. I'm going to throw Tanner Scott in there because he's on a little bit of a hot streak right now. You can put Vesia and you can
Tanner
put
Scott. Wait, did I just hear Tanner Scott's on a hot streak? I just want to make sure.
I mean, yeah, look, the numbers don't lie. I
didn't know how many qualified a hot streak, so I just was double checking. I heard right.
When I need to push a narrative, it's all subjective, and hot streak could be 1 game, it could be 2 games in this case. It's also relative to what we're seeing from the rest of the Dodgers bullpen. So you compare him to a lot of these other guys, and he's on a crazy run.
Hey, look, you don't have to tell me. I'm quick to jump on positivity. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding exactly what you were saying. So there we go. Hey, they're going to figure this thing out. I love it. Phil, Kershaw, greatest Dodger. Need to spend the rest of the season seeing if Sheehan can be a new high leverage guy. Why they haven't started already is baffling, especially with other starters locked already. This is an interesting one, Matt, because I do think the Dodgers still kind of have to worry about their rotation enough to make sure they win this division. I know the magic number is 6, but we've seen this team go through cold streaks to say that, like, I'm not counting my eggs already as far as winning the division. I think it's safe to say with a magic number of 1 that they're going to make the playoffs, that is locked up. But I still think winning the division matters. I would like to see the Padres fans not have something to be happy about. So that matters to me. So I'm fine with them not moving Sheehan out of the rotation yet, but I'm curious if you think this is something they will eventually do.
I mean, they're running out of time to do it. There's an off day coming up on Monday, so that will help if the Dodgers do want to go to a 5-man rotation at that coming out of that at that point. Although you would have 6 games left, 3 with the Diamondbacks, 3 with the Mariners. So would it shock me if maybe Sheehan's next time pitching is potentially after Ohtani, because he's not due up in this series, I don't think, right? I'm pretty sure not. No, because he just pitched recently. Or is he the Sunday game? Sorry, I could have looked.
He's Sunday against the Giants.
Yeah, so I mean, he's the probable right now. Would it shock me if maybe they make a change and either put an opener behind him or maybe just push him back altogether?
Off day on Monday. It's worth pointing out as well.
And I my assumption right now is that Ohtani is going on Tuesday because then that will line him up to also start game 1 of the wild card series then the following Tuesday. If you're into reading tea leaves, I know people enjoy that type of stuff at this point. So it wouldn't completely shock me, but also I'm not in a huge like panic or rush. We've seen Sheehan fill that role already, and he just did it with Banda as the opener against the Phillies. So like he's had enough experience with it to be fine. I guess the only sort of difference is going to be, I'm not sure if they're going to have him fill like a high leverage role, like 1 inning type thing in the postseason. I think that's going to be more likely a Ben Kasparius or maybe a Kyle Hurt, as we'll get into kind of later on. But yeah, I mean, I think, Sheehan is definitely going to the bullpen for October. I think he's already shown that he can fill that role. And so with all of that, I don't think they need to be in a significant rush to get it done right now.
There you go. We're going to try and fix the microphone on the fly here and see if this gets any better.
I was trying to buy you a bunch of time, and then I felt like I was rambling and repeating myself.
You did a great job. We're just going to try things out, folks, on the fly here, and you let us know if this is sounding better. So Jedi Engineer, love that the top of the zone was squeezed. Kopech should have had a 3-pitch strikeout. Trinan struck a guy out twice. Tough umpiring tonight. It did feel like a guy who was just guessing. There was no consistency. I try my hardest not to be biased. It did feel like the Dodgers pitchers got way less borderline calls in their favor than Giants pitchers did. I don't think that's why there were 10 walks on one side and 1 on the other. I think there was a lot more at stake there, but it was a rough night for this umpire. The scorecard is not going to be favorable for him.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. The scorecard stuff is always interesting because it'll come out and it'll still be like 92%. And I get like, on one hand, if you, my mind automatically goes to like a grading scale, like from college type thing and growing up and like going to school. So 92% to me is like, well, that's still an A, like it's okay. But I guess if you like in umpire terms, like it's probably it's what you saw tonight where, there were egregious calls and stuff.
There you go. Jedi Engineer also, by the way, numbers don't lie from Matt. Don't forget this next time he's arguing for the eye test results. Do you want to defend yourself? Was it were you misquoted here?
Yes, I was. Jedi Engineer, that you took me completely out of context.
Yeah.
The results, the eye test results are what I based that Tanner Scott is on a heater.
Matt's going to go scrub the tape on this afterwards. So when there's a huge gap in the show for people watching in the future, just know that.
Okay? Apologies to our podcast listeners when this makes no sense at all.
Phil says, guys, we have other starters. We needed bullpen help, and Sheehan has the stuff. This is crazy talk. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think both of us are saying we believe that's the role he's going to have in the postseason. It's just a matter of how they test that out. To Matt's point, they have put an opener in front of him so that he can simulate coming in relief. Maybe what Phil is saying, coming in the second inning in relief isn't enough. We need to be sending this guy out there in the 8th inning, in the 9th inning, that type of thing. Which, again, I still think there's a real chance, Matt, that that's what happens come postseason time. I'm skeptical that I think he's going to make at least one more start on Sunday. There's a chance, a possibility, an optimistic possibility that by the time his next turn came around, everything would be clinched and they could maybe experiment a little bit more. But I think he makes at least one more start would be my guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm not sure if if he's moved into, a 1 inning, maybe 2 inning type reliever role. I still think he's sort of not a long man, but kind of like, I think maybe, Ben Kasperi, like my guess is Ben Kasperius is probably, I would be shocked if one of Kasperius or Kyle Hurt is not on the playoff roster, given what we've seen from Yates, given what we've seen from Kopech, given I think Trinan is safe, but given what we've seen with some of his struggles recently, like there's a clear need there. And so I don't necessarily know if they'll go to Sheehan to fill that specific role, short of like, hey, let's, you get 7 or 8 innings from your starter in one of the playoff games and Sheehan is available. Sure. Like let him finish the game at that point, potentially type thing. Like a 2 inning save, like that can make sense. But he's also been on kind of a starter routine. So whenever you do use him, he's not going to be a Blake Trinan who can maybe go back to back type thing. Like there is going to be time off. So that's going to be part of their planning too.
Matt, they already have a gentleman who's going to be filling multi-inning role. He made an announcement today, Clayton Kershaw.
I mean, yeah, look, his comment, and if anybody missed it, we have the press conference up on our YouTube channel. I don't know if it's confirmation bias for me, but when he was kind of explaining, he's making his final home start of the regular season tomorrow. Then he said the Dodgers have a lot of pitchers. He's not sure what it's going to look like in the playoffs. Again, it could be just my confirmation bias. Like I sort of took it as, well, wait, like, are you not sure, like, if you're going to be on the roster type thing, at least early, like maybe he's not. I know Blake has brought this up, like maybe he's not going to be around for the wild card series. And there's obviously not a guarantee the Dodgers advance. Or is it he is going to be, he's obviously, he said multiple times, we have a month of baseball to play ahead of us. So he's not in the mindset of, it could be a short run. Is he going to be coming out of the bullpen? And I did start to think, like, we brought this up, like he puts the team first and he'll do what needs to be done. It wouldn't completely shock me if he says, like, yeah, I can be, an option for you out of the bullpen if things kind of get crazy for some reason. Like, I'll start my warm-up routine and go from there and give you 3-4 innings.
Yeah. I understand the arguments against. I would still be surprised if Clayton Kershaw is not on any postseason roster.
I agree.
If they take a 14th position player, as that would be even crazier to me. But again, it feels like every year there's surprises and crazy things that seem to happen on these. So we will have a show at some point guessing what the roster will look like. And there will be 1 or 2 things that none of us predict, most likely, because that's how these things tend to play out. So David said, I truly believe after last night when Dave Roberts let Snell finish that inning, it's the turning point of our season. You buying into this?
I mean, it's hard to argue. They are undefeated since that moment. So, if they keep it up tomorrow, then maybe, David will have another feather in his cap, and we might all have to start buying in that the Dodgers may not lose another game for the rest of this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do want to point out, by the way, some people were saying, I'm not sure who, I can go back and check my sources, that when Conforto's in the lineup of late, they win. And when Conforto's not in the lineup, they tend to lose. So I'm going to go back. I'm just thinking of winning streaks and stuff. So we'll circle back to that. We'll circle back.
I thought that was specifically when he was the cleanup hitter only.
Well, they are undefeated in that situation as well. But, Jay Teaser says Webb feels like what May should have become. We appreciate the super chat, Jay. I'm going to be honest. I don't see any similarities between Logan Webb and Dustin May. Logan Webb's very good. I mean, maybe he's just saying like May had the potential to be as effective of a starter. They're obviously very different pitchers, but this is baseball, right? They demolished Logan Webb a week ago, like absolutely slaughter him. And tonight they can't touch him. I sometimes baseball makes me just shake my head and say, I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm going to take this as not that Jay was intending to be, but I think Dustin May had the potential to be a lot better than Logan Webb.
Wow. Logan Webb's really good.
He's not. I've never been high on him, so I am coming from a biased perspective.
All right. Somebody in the chat says I love all the bad players. If you knew who my favorite players were growing up, you'd be onto something. Phil, that's why we need to find out now if we can, going back to Sheehan as a reliever. We'll see. I think he's going to be used there, and I think with a young guy like that, having come out of the bullpen even as a boat guy, I think there's like a world where they just start trusting him.
I mean, I think also, like, if anybody is concerned that Sheehan is not going to the bullpen for October, like, as long as nothing crazy happens and knock on wood between now and the end of the regular season, like, Sheehan is getting put in the bullpen. Like, there's not, you don't need 6 starters. You really probably don't necessarily need 5, although depending on how and when they use Ohtani, like, that becomes a factor. But the bullpen needs help. Emmett Sheehan is best suited to help that group, more so than Clayton Kershaw. And I'm not saying that Kershaw shouldn't pitch. I'm saying Kershaw should be utilized probably as a starter, just given that's what he's most comfortable with. So if anybody is worried about Sheehan not, his role changing, like, you don't need to be. I know they haven't come out and officially said it, but like, we can be pretty certain that that's where he's going to be pitching out of.
Phil wants to know, Jeff, does Conforto have info on you tied to aspiration and cap circumvention? I'll put it this way, Phil. I hope he does. I hope there's some data out there with my name and aspiration linked to it, one way or another. We'll take either side of the ledger when it comes to aspiration. I hosted Lakers Nation on Monday, and Peralta and I talked about this. I mean, it's good drama. I know. Like, you follow the NBA. It's not like a diehard thing for you, but the drama of this Clippers Kawhi thing is just beautiful. This time of year, I love it.
Well, especially the way Pablo Torre's, rolling everything out. It's like, here's this information, and everybody says, well, you don't have this, and this. And then, a day later, 2 days later, it's like, oh, you're asking for this? Well, here it is. And then it just sort of keeps going.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, thank you to all the super chats, by the way. Thank you to everybody hopping in with us live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. We appreciate you. Again, the Dodgers win tonight 2-1. This was an absolute snoozer through 5 innings. The Dodgers offense had gotten just 1 hit off of Logan Webb in the first 5. The Giants offense got 1 hit all night. But in the bottom of the 6th, as usual in 2025, Miguel Rojas gets things going for the Dodgers. He singles. Ben can't get the bunt down. Did not hit into a double play. The key there, though. Ohtani doubles. Mookie, ground ball to shortstop. This feels like the ultimate Dodgers thing. A bunt, guy gets thrown out at second, a ground ball to short. It looks like Ben is going to get gunned down at home. Thank you, Patrick Bailey, for being unable to catch baseballs tonight. 1-0 Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, RBI single, makes it 2-0. However, they strand a runner on third with 1 out as Max Muncy and Teoscar Hernandez cannot cash him in. It is worth pointing out, Teoscar smashed the ball to the hole, and Willy Adames made an incredible play but then made a throw that I think bounced 18 times between shortstop and first, catches Teoscar easily. In the top of the 7th, the Dodgers bullpen, as we mentioned earlier,
4 walks, including walking in a run. However, Blake Treinen gets the second and third out via strikeout to preserve a 2-1 lead. Bonda gets a 1-2-3 inning in the 8th. The Dodgers strand a 1-out double from Ohtani in the in the bottom of the 8th. But then Alex Vesia, Dodgers' new closer, ? Alex Vesia, strikeout, line out to end the game. Matt, are you ready? Are we just in? Vesia, this is the guy, 1-2-3 inning, pumping fastballs past guys, getting swing and miss. He was their best reliever for the first 2/3 of the season before getting injured, and he's been great since. I mean, are we ready to just go there?
I mean, you might have to. I was a little surprised that it wasn't Tanner Scott tonight. I think some of that could be Dave Roberts. Like, as much as Scott has pitched better recently, he's still not officially sure yet or sold that he's, quote unquote back, if you will. So that was a little interesting to see him go to Vesia. I think that was indicative of Dave understanding kind of the urgency and the need for wins right now. I think same thing with Kopech. I felt like he was out of the dugout to make the pitching change before Kopech threw, or he got the strikeout, I think, right? That was the final bat before he got that, before he officially finished facing that third hitter. I felt like Dave Roberts was halfway out there to make that pitching change. So yeah, I mean, look, if that's what it takes, Vesia has shown, whether it's a save situation or high leverage, late inning type thing, he's capable of handling it. So Dave Roberts did make it not a point, but 2 days ago, I believe it was, when he was discussing the bullpen, he said there's no roles, that it's just when the phone rings and it's your time, that's your time.
There we go. Again, Dodgers win. It was not pretty. 2 hits for Ohtani, both doubles. Freddie Freeman, an RBI single. Rojas and Rortvedt, the only other 2 Dodgers to get hits. Mookie Betts did walk once. Those were the 6 base runners for the Dodgers. On the pitching side, 5 1/3, 1 hit, 6 walks, and 7 strikeouts for Yamamoto. One of the most bizarre lines ever, especially for Yamamoto, Matt. A career-high 6 walks for a guy whose command is typically fantastic. Joe Davis mentioned he's on a historic run of not allowing hits. However, 6 walks tonight, again, limits the damage. 1, no earned runs from him. I'm not complaining here when it comes to Yamamoto. Just uncharacteristic tonight.
Yeah, I do think that probably 2 of those walks, maybe even 3, were a byproduct of the strike zone. Look, he gave up 1 hit, and I know he left a runner on base that was it Jack Dreyer, or who was it, Jack Dreyer that came in?
Dreyer came in for Yamamoto.
That Dreyer then stranded to sort of make sure he had a scoreless outing. So yeah, a little uncharacteristic for him again. I not to make an excuse, but there were like legitimately pitches that were strikes that were getting called for balls, and so take at least 1 walk off his ledger. I think 2 is fair. And I think you could even, if you went back and really looked at it, like arguably even 3, and then it certainly looks a lot different tonight.
And I think Yamamoto's a guy that his command and control is so elite that when you're not getting those borderline pitches, it's not like, okay, well, you missed and didn't get bailed out. Like, those are pitches he's putting where he wants to put them most of the night. So I think he does, to your point, get a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt on nights like tonight. 108 pitches for Yamamoto. Were you surprised that Dave, on one hand, were you surprised he let him come back out for the 6th, given where his pitch count was? I believe it was well over 90 pitches. And were you surprised that at 108, that's where Dave drew the line?
No, not surprised by either one of those. I think definitely, sending him back out there was the least surprising of the 2, because David said, that Dodgers are going to push their starters. They need them. And as much as, I think some of it, I think he did factor in the strike zone and the way the umpire was calling the game tonight. The other reality is he'd only given up 1 hit. Like, it's not like it was 3 or 4 or 5 hits plus the 4 or 5 walks. And you're thinking like, what's going on here type thing. So yeah, I think it's just, it was October tonight, if you will.
Yeah. Domination. Cordena, interesting question. Do the Dodgers go into the postseason with 3 catchers? My answer is definitely not. It would make no sense. If a guy gets hurt and you need the 3rd catcher, then it absolutely would not make any sense you could just take the guy off. Where I do think there's a conversation, and tonight is the perfect night to talk about it, is whether or not Dalton Rushing has officially been passed in the pecking order. And I say that because with Logan Webb on the mound, I don't think anybody expected Dalton Rushing not to be in the lineup tonight. And then he was not in the lineup. They go back to Ben. So I'm curious for you, Matt. Is Ben officially the number 2 catcher on this team, and Dalton Rushing is hoping and praying to just be a pinch hit third catcher on this playoff roster?
I think Rortvedt is the number 2 catcher right now. From a postseason perspective, I could still see a scenario where 3 of them are on, and I know Blake is, although I'm reluctant because they haven't I don't want to say given up. They haven't made an aggressive change really with Michael Conforto all year. But I think Blake, maybe Scott, one of the two, maybe both of them, they can fight over who had it first. Brought up the notion of carrying to Cordonez's point, carrying Rortvedt as your second catcher, letting Rushing be your left-handed bat off the bench, which I think that sounds better than if you boil it down to, would you rather have Dalton Rushing pinch hitting or Michael Conforto pinch hitting? I know who everybody but Jeff is probably going to pick in that scenario. So that there could be an outlook that could make sense. I'm not sure though, to this specific question, I'm not sure if they go to 3 on the postseason roster. To your question, I do think Rortvedt has, from a catching standpoint, has passed Dalton Rushing.
So just so give me your take on Rortvedt, because we're talking about a guy with the Dodgers that has 13 games under his belt after tonight. I'd have to go look at exactly what number of plate appearances we're talking about. The season-long numbers are bad. The career numbers are bad. So give me, everyone knows where I've stood on him, and I'm not trying to be closed-minded to the idea. I guess I'm just still, I understand why we're quick to jump and look for something optimistic. I guess I'm just skeptical, and I'm trying to be understanding of why I should be convinced that the offense for Ben is going to be, that this is real, that the sample size of everything prior to the last 36 at-bats is not as indicative as the 36 we've seen over the last 13 games.
For me, a lot of it boils down to Rushing has, he's I don't want to say the Dodgers have set him up for failure, because that would be harsh and not fair to them.
Yeah.
But Dalton went from starting he was their top prospect for a reason. He's playing every day in the minors to, okay, your first opportunity in the major leagues is going to come in a bench role where you're getting sporadic playing time. And he's been open about how difficult it is adjusting to that. And so I do think that has had an impact on the already difficult jump going from AAA to the major leagues. We've seen very few guys make that earn that promotion and hit the ground running and just light the world on fire from the jump. So there's that. So you're not necessarily getting a whole lot you're getting a bigger threat with Dalton Rushing, but you're not getting production per se, guaranteed production or consistent production from him.
Yeah.
So that sure, you can question, is Rortvedt going to hit as well as Dalton Rushing? He's going to hit as well as he is now compared to his career. Maybe not. For me, what you're getting, I think we're past the point of, the Dodgers, if you want to look at, no hitter specifically aside, the Dodgers, Oral said it on the broadcast tonight that Rortvedt's ERA with the pitchers was averaging out to 2 something at this point.
Yeah. So for you, I'm hearing it has more to do with how down you are on Rushing than it does about how high you are on Rortvedt.
I think more or less, yes. But I don't want to put again, Dalton Rushing, I think, has been put in a difficult position, and he has done the best that he can given the circumstances. It's more of, I'm not sure you're going to necessarily get that offensive production from Rushing at this point. So if the offense is sort of equal or close to it, give me kind of, Rortvedt, I think, is a little bit more advanced in the game calling and defensively and stuff like that. So give me that stuff, because Will Smith, the reality is Will Smith is probably and should just be playing every day in the playoffs anyway, right? Short of his hand swelling up unexpectedly the way it did, and then it led to him going on the injured list.
Yeah.
So consider if Rortvedt or Rushing is in the game, it's for defensive purposes, not because Will Smith needed a DH day because that's Shohei Ohtani, right? So at that point, give me the bigger upside, and there's a bigger disparity between Rushing and Rortvedt defensively that I would just take at this point.
That's fair. And my take has constantly been, I don't know what world one of these guys is coming in as a defensive replacement. The role from the backup catcher would seemingly be more likely to be a impact bat off the bench, which is why I tend to focus. Two reasons why I tend to focus on offense. One is when it comes to pitch calling, I hear everything you're saying. I still struggle to know exactly what role he's playing in that, because it does, if you watch the game, he's still looking over to the dugout and getting game calls in. We know that there have been instances where guys have started calling their own pitches when he's behind the plate. And I'm not trying to discount everything, because you can't ignore how good the pitching staff has been with him out there. They're also just very good pitchers. It's worth pointing out. To me, it comes down to offense, and that's why I'm struggling here.
That's fair. And I think that's why, like, maybe the solution is, like, then for me, like, I am taking Rortvedt over rushing, but I'm also taking rushing over Conforto. So let rushing.
And that's there. People don't like Conforto. The chat did not like that take from you.
I know. I mean, that's fine. We're all here to explain, why we stand on different, what is Conforto going to necessarily, like, a lot of our viewers, our listeners have wanted Conforto off the team since before the All-Star break. So to me, like, I'm taking my chance with, in a pinch hit situation, needing a left-handed hitter. Let Dalton Rushing run into one before Michael Conforto is.
I mean, Rushing has worse offensive numbers than Conforto in every category imaginable.
I get it. I mean, look, I just, Conforto has been around a long time, and it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
To your other question, I agree with you. Like, Will Smith should be starting 99.9% of these playoff games. But we just saw it the other night, which prompted this IL stint. He was getting ready for the game, and all of a sudden his hand acted up, like, flared up. And in that instance, all of a sudden your backup catcher is thrust into obviously starting and playing the full game. Given what we've seen, like, how would you not want that to be Rortvedt at this point? And I get what you're saying, that pitchers, it's certainly a talented rotation. I could say staff, even though the bullpen hasn't always shown it consistently and guys are struggling, but the talent is there, right? Like, the Dodgers, like, on paper, at least, paper, if you look at last year's numbers, maybe. But they're like, I think we're beyond, like, oh, Rortvedt just got lucky to be behind the plate the night Yamamoto almost threw a no-hitter. Like, that started, like, happening regularly at this point. And I think there's been enough examples to show, like, it's not just a fluke with him behind the plate.
Amanda asks a fair question. Jeff, Mr. Optimism isn't optimistic about Ben. I haven't had a chance to talk about it on here, but I sent this out on social media. And I think it's worth taking 30 seconds to explain how I got to the place. Like, when I have optimism about a guy like Conforto, or last year about Gavin Lux, or whatever, or pessimism about a guy like Rortvedt, or in this case, I was a little bit pessimistic on Ha-Seong Kim at the beginning of the season. The reason is because I am looking at a larger sample size, past tense, including expectations, and saying, what are my expectations going in? So this year, when I look at Dalton Rushing and Ben Rortvedt and said, what am I expecting? I expected good things from Dalton Rushing, and I expected nothing from Ben Rortvedt. And that was because Rushing was a top prospect, a guy who's a top 50 prospect everywhere you look. He's hit at every level of the minor leagues, and he was seemingly ready. Ben, on the other hand, for those that don't know, is out of options because he's been optioned multiple times. He was DFA'd by the Rays this year and went completely unclaimed on waivers, and then was reassigned to their AAA team, which is how he was able to be in the Dodgers organization, but not on the 40-man when they got him in a trade. So that his history is that. This year, by the way, even with the stretch he's had with the Dodgers, you see it every time he's come up. This year, his slash line on the whole is 165, 250, 196. That's his batting slash line for 2025. So none of that is to say that the 37 at-bats he's since had is completely meaningless. But I'm just saying those were my expectations coming in. And I look at what I've seen, and I look at 37 plate appearances, at-bats, excuse me. I think it's 40 plate appearances, 37 at-bats, because 3 walks. But the point to me is, when I look at the sample size, I have not seen enough in a large enough sample size to convince me that the reasonable expectations I had beforehand were totally off base. Like today, he goes 1 for 3. The hit was a ground ball that gets through the first and second base slide with a sub 250 expected batting average on that ball. So yes, it's a hit, and I'm glad. And the defense is legit. I am talking strictly offensively. And so maybe I'm going to look like an idiot because the small sample size is going to become a large sample size. I'm open to that possibility. I'm just saying I need more of a sample size to convince me that a guy who was DFA'd and cleared waivers like 4 months ago is now all of a sudden a 300 hitter for the Dodgers. That's where I'm at. And again, I'm not saying people have to agree with me. I'm not saying you have to like this take. I just think sometimes it's helpful to explain to people this isn't just blind hate towards a guy named Ben. It's reasonable expectation setting and then evaluation. And 37 plate appearances isn't enough time for me to say totally wrong. I had this one way off and readjust everything.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think where I fall, and it seems like looking at a lot of the comments as well, is there just isn't a whole lot of concern about the offense. Like there's been enough defensively.
But again, is he going to play defense in the postseason? Why would he be playing defense in the postseason?
I just said, like, if Will Smith's hand all of a sudden starts
acting up. Yeah, but if we're talking about
again,
a backup catcher, I guess that's fair. I'm baking in Will Smith is number one, and who's the backup catcher in the NLDS? You're saying they need to have a contingency plan with their backup catcher for a world in which Will Smith can't play.
Yes. And at that point, like, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of if Will Smith, if he gets hit by a foul ball on his hand again, on his face mask, on if his hand just flares up, period, who would you want behind the plate right now?
Like, okay, so two things. One is if he gets hurt, you can take Will Smith off the postseason roster and then replace him. But in the middle of a game, I would just take my chances with rushing because I wouldn't want to waste the roster spot.
If you take Will Smith off the roster, he's then not eligible for the next round. You then have to advance. So they're not going to make that, like, short of, oh, he has a hand fracture or, something significant, he's out for 2 months. They're not going to make that move.
Yeah.
Like he'll be around and just sort of inactive/active still.
It could be.
And
if you're afraid of that, then I think the question about holding 3 catchers is reasonable. Like if you're prepared to have Will Smith unable to play but remaining on the playoff roster, then I think you should probably carry 3 catchers.
I mean, I think that has to be the mindset. They thought, and maybe it'll be, well, 2 things. As I'm going to say, maybe things will be better now because they actually put Will Smith on the injured list. He also, when he went on the IL, and I know we've heard this before, the expectation was he would be back once he's eligible. That's Saturday. Dave Roberts just told us this week that that's not happening now, that it's delayed. So we can't act like Will Smith's health is just an automatic given.
No, I'm with you.
They thought that was the case, and then his hand flared up and he was scratched 15 minutes before a game, and now here we are, and he's not returning when they first thought. Which, if you want to put stock into that, like sure, it could have just been more optimism than projecting type thing. So for me, you're going into the playoffs needing to assume that at any moment Will Smith's hand could become an issue, be it for 1 game, for 2 games. And again, if there is an injury, they're not, in my opinion, they're not going to take him off the roster because if he's not eligible, then for the next, like, you have to advance now 1 more round before Will Smith can come back. And you're not going to kneecap yourself like that.
So give me a percentage chance you think Will Smith is on the first playoff roster the Dodgers have to publish.
Oh, I still think that's 85%. I just don't know how healthy he's going to be.
So you think they would put him on the roster even believing there's a realistic chance he can't play 2 out of the 5 games?
Well, be 2 out of 3. It would be 3 games.
Okay, 3 games. Sorry. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Like if you weren't convinced he could play all 3 games, you think they'd put him on the roster?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that they would take their chance.
They have extra roster spots.
I think they would take their chance with, maybe he comes back, not maybe, hopefully, ideally, he comes back before the season ends. And if you need to give him off, let's say he only plays 1 of the Mariners games or something, or misses that entire series, because you already saw him come back against again, this is all hypothetical. You already saw him come back against the Diamondbacks. He played, he was okay. Okay, let's just give his hand a rest. Maybe the Dodgers have already clinched the NL West. Let's sit him Saturday and Sunday. And then that gives him also Monday before he then needs to be back in the lineup on 2. Like, I think they'll take their chance of him starting game 1, getting through that. And if he's not ready to go for game 2 for some reason, then they'll go to, the second, whether it's Rortvedt or rushing for a game 2. Maybe he's back available for game 3. Like, you just figure that out.
Here's where I stand. First of all, like, if I'm wrong about Rortvedt, that's fine. I'm not being bullied into changing my position over 37 plate appearances. I've gone out on a limb. This will be another limb I go out on. We'll see if I look like an idiot. There would probably won't have enough sample size, really, to have definitive one way or the other. I'm totally fine if they need a catcher to start and catch an entire game. I think sure, Ben Rortvedt. I don't have a strong preference between him and Dalton Rushing. If I need a pinch hitter late in the game, which the scenario I'm envisioning is the backup catcher is a pinch hitter, then I would prefer to have Dalton Rushing over. I do agree with the point that you just made, which is back to the super chat that was asked 15 minutes ago, is that will they carry 3 catchers? I think it makes sense in a 3-game series where you're not going to necessarily need every single bench spot in the bullpen or on the offensive side of things to just say, maybe Will Smith is just a pinch hitter. Maybe he's not even a guy they want to start every single day, but they say, hey, if we don't trust him to go out there and catch 9 innings and feel good the next day, but we're still going to keep him around because if we have runners on second and third and 2 outs in the 7th, we'll trust him to take an at bat and see what happens. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't think anybody could have imagined a month ago that we were going to be having a Ben Rortvedt versus Dalton Rushing debate and that I'd be getting killed for being on the Dalton Rushing side of things. But, sample size will be a thing that we're talking about. We'll see how it plays out over the next. I mean, there's only 6 or 7 games. So realistically, like I said, we're not going to get to a large enough sample size to define anything. So you're basically making a guess and throwing your hands up.
You're going to have to come to the good old eye test side, Jeff. You're going to have to rely on your eyes.
Look, I will say the eye test for me is not helping. It is not helping.
How is it not?
Because today's a perfect example. The box score says 1 for 3. The eye test says he failed at a bunt and hit 2 ground balls. One of them just happened to squirt through.
But you're only focusing on throughout this entire time. You're only focusing on offense, though. I've
been crystal clear on why, though. I don't need my backup catcher to actually be catching in this scenario. We're just you're projecting that Will Smith is not going to be available. I'm projecting he's going to be available. And if he's available, then all I care about in my backup catcher is a guy who can pinch hit.
Okay.
Look, you don't have to agree with my ground rules. I'm trying to establish the baseline assumptions I'm making to get to the place that I get to. So, again. And again, I think it's interesting. I see our guy Blake in the chat. I don't know if Blake, he was at the stadium. I don't know if he could tell. Rortvedt's looking over to the dugout, getting signs. So it's this is the hard part for me. I'm not a major league pitcher. I'm not a major league catcher. I'm not a major league coach. They have clearly been doing different things with their pitchers from a pitch calling perspective, meaning who is calling the pitches since Ben has taken over. And I don't mean that to sound disrespectful to him, but they literally said in the no-hitter, Yamamoto started calling his own pitches for the first time all season. Glasnow called his own pitches in the game where he struck out 1 million. So again, that's not Rortvedt sucks, but I don't know how much credit to give him in those situations.
That's fair.
He's blocking the ball. His 2 throws tonight down to second base were fantastic. He should have thrown out both guys. Rojas screwed up the tag on the second one. I'm not being disrespectful towards him. I just think the common arguments that we're throwing out there, it's hard to say exactly how much credit he deserves.
It's fair.
There we go.
We have a super chat.
David, if Ohtani goes to the bullpen in the playoffs, will he not bat the entire game to warm up when needed? Or will they use him only in a tight situation? Or will he play outfield, Matt?
Yeah, this Ohtani to the bullpen, Ohtani playing the outfield. The outfield, Dave Roberts has all but officially ruled out. I think, they're not going to say he's never playing the outfield or there's 100% no shot, because if they get to a game 7 of the World Series and Ohtani needs to pitch out of the bullpen potentially, then yeah, and he needs to also play outfield to stay in the lineup, then sure, they don't, not that they're worried about being called liars by, nobody's going to say, hey, you told us he was never doing this now, but they're not going to box themselves in that way. I think even the bullpen scenario is a stretch from the standpoint of just the logistics of it. As the super chat was asked, you need to be able to time it up with when his at bat would be so that he can have time to warm up and this and that. And so again, to me, that's not even, I don't even want to say game 3 of the wild card series, because I assume Ohtani is starting game 1 of the wild card series and he's not going to be available to pitch for which is fine. I'm not saying it from a critical standpoint, just logistically, he's not going to be able to pitch for a week. So for me, Ohtani out of the bullpen is something that's maybe game 7 of the NLCS. He pitched game 1 you're holding him for, game 1 of the World Series if you advance, but you need to get there. Like, sure, figure out how you get him out of the bullpen at that point. Like, it needs to be something like that where it's win or go home. And those are really the only scenarios I see that becoming a possibility.
I'm with you. I think it's break glass in case of emergency with Ohtani out of the bullpen for 2 reasons. One, he's really freaking good as a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
And like, yes, they have good starting pitching, but biggest Clayton Kershaw guy in the world right over here. Like, I'm not moving Ohtani to the bullpen so that Clayton Kershaw can be starting postseason games.
Right.
So he's one of your 4 starting pitchers. You tend to need 3 to 4 starting pitchers. If you have 4 guys this good, then you can keep everybody on sort of pseudo normal rest and maximize that. Like, I want my starting pitchers to be able to give me 6+ innings. And that is going to be helped if there's 4 of them making starts in addition to some of the days off. And the second piece of this is the whole hitting thing. Like, it gets complicated. When does he go warm up if his spot is due up in the lineup? And then if he does come into the bullpen, he has to stay in the game in the outfield if you want to keep his bat in the lineup. Like, that all sounds like a nightmare to me. Keep things simple, right? What's that math rule? Keep it simple, stupid. Like, just leave him as a starter where he's awesome and save the bullpen, which isn't awesome, from having to pitch more innings than they need to. This isn't that complicated to me.
I think especially to further your point, Ohtani has done the 5 innings thing now.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk after his last start saying from Ohtani himself and Dave Roberts that, yes, 6 innings in the playoffs is a possibility. So if he gets you 5 1/3, 5 2/3, like that takes, it's only 1 or 2 extra outs, but those outs are big in the postseason. And if that, is a little bit of a lighter burden, if all of a sudden, if Ohtani goes 5 2/3 and you have a perfect matchup for, I guess got done saying, I'm not sure. Sure. I almost said Kopech, but for Banda, or somebody
is a perfect matchup for Kopech.
Right. And
unless
somebody
it's a guy who swings at everything. That's a perfect matchup for Kopech.
Perhaps. But yeah, for Banda. And it's a left-handed hitter, and you can just get him, face that one hitter, or maybe it's, 2 lefties in a row. He faces the one and then starts the next in. Like it does change a lot of things. So if Ohtani wasn't built up to go 5+ at this point come October, then I would be more open to like, yeah, maybe you do just figure out how you pitch him out of the bullpen, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. Speaking of bullpen, though, let's get to a couple, one interesting storyline from today. Roki Sasaki, the huge signing from the offseason, who has been, I think it's safe to say, a disappointment so far in his rookie season. He has struggled with some health stuff. He has struggled with velocity. He has struggled with command. Well, the velocity kind of miraculously returned last week, Matt. Today, he made his first ever relief appearance for Oklahoma City. And according to, Alex Friedman tweeted this out, but you could just go to the box score and find it. Strikeout, walk, flyout. He threw 11 of 16 pitches for strikes, which has been an issue. He threw 9 fastballs that averaged 98.9 miles an hour, including one that touched 100. It's 1 outing, but it's 2 strikeouts, 1 base runner, and no earned runs for Sasaki. I have been consistent on here that I didn't think he was going to be in play for October. I'm curious if you think I need to rethink that position.
Not necessarily. I think if Sasaki, I guess I don't know. Your position wasn't so much like if somebody asked you, Jeff, if Sasaki's on the playoff roster, what role do you think it would be in? What would you have picked?
Oh, if he's on the roster, it's 100% as a reliever.
Okay, so yeah, so like you don't necessarily need to like completely go back on that. I think what this is, and I know Dave Roberts, we have the video up on our YouTube channel, so you guys could watch it after we're done here. He did tell Blake and everybody who's there at the stadium tonight that Sasaki's going to pitch again out of the bullpen on Sunday for Oklahoma City, and then they'll kind of see what happens from there. So to me, what this is, it's preparing for look, it's obvious that the bullpen has been struggling, and we just got we started off the show going over kind of focusing on the right-handed relief pitchers that the Dodgers have that are in a little bit of trouble and maybe unsteady footing in terms of roster spots for the playoffs. So I think this is more of just, hey, if we decide to go down this route, how does it look? Not like he's doing this because he's going to be on the playoff roster. It's more of your role would be as a reliever. Yeah. We just got done saying they have enough starters. Emmett Sheehan's going to the bullpen. Kershaw potentially is going to the bullpen. So Sasaki, if there's a spot for you, this is what it's going to be. But we need to see. It's not like Sheehan where he's done it. Like we need to see you do this.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this, but he is going to be making another relief appearance
Yeah.
for Oklahoma City on Sunday. So we'll see how that one goes. David asked the super chat, who are the 13 playoff pitchers, starters, and relievers? This is an ongoing question. It's worth pointing out, David, that they could technically have 14 pitchers on the postseason roster because, again, Shohei Ohtani does not count as a pitcher in that equation. Our staff is not all aligned in whether they would carry the maximum number of pitchers or if in a 3-game series, for example, they would just decide to add another bat. So that remains up for debate. But if you've got Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, and Ohtani in the rotation, again, that technically leaves you up to 10 more spots. When I go down the list, I think at this point, Vesia is for sure in. I think Trinan is for sure in. I think Sheehan is for sure in. Those Dreyer is for sure in. I think those 4 are for sure. My next category of like sort of confident would be Tanner Scott. I think is fairly confident he would be in there. Anthony Bonda has been really, really good. I think he's going to be in. I would include Clayton Kershaw in that category as well. So that gets us, I believe, to 8 of the 10 spots that are taken up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 spots in addition. So that's 10 pitcher spots counting, which means we've got some options. Kopech, Brock Stewart are interesting names. You've got Kasperius, you've got Enriquez, you've got Kyle Hurt, you've got Justin Robleski. Like this is where I think it gets interesting, Matt, for me to figure out how you piece the rest of those together. After tonight, I'm cool taking, and Kirby Yates, by the way, he's out for me. I'm cool moving Kopech as a guy I don't trust. Like I would trust Kasperius more than I would trust Michael Kopech for sure. I think Enriquez I would probably trust more than Michael Kopech. I think I trust Kyle Hurt more than I would trust Kopech as well. Then you've got Robleski. I think Robleski's good. I think his problem is there's a million lefties on this list already. And so if somebody has to be on the outside looking in, I think it would be Robleski for me. So give me some of those names. Like when it comes to Kopech, Kasperius, Enriquez, Hurts, Yates, and Roki Sasaki, I'll throw in there. Like, who do you like in that group?
Well, like is I'll answer who I think is going to be on it. I think Kasperius is somebody who's going to be back in the picture. I think part of me feels like Robleski, and again, this is hard because it'll change from the wild card. Like the wild card series is a different animal compared to the NLDS, which we're so accustomed to the Dodgers starting their playoff run in. I think Robleski for a wild card series, I sort of feel like Robleski maybe makes it ahead of Kershaw for the reason that you have your clear, like there's no question, I think, who the 3 starters for the wild card series are going to be.
Who would that be?
Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Snell.
Okay, so then Glasnow off the roster?
Yes. I think
because you're saving him. You're not going to use him in relief in any scenario because you want him available. Okay.
Right. So, and I think Kershaw sort of falls under that same bucket where if this goes all 3 games, we're going to need to basically kind of go to a 6-man rotation in the NL, at least briefly, to kind of get guys back online.
Or a 5-man rotation.
Or 5, yes, my apologies. To get guys back online for rest purposes and things of that nature. So I could see them not including Kershaw on the wild card roster, but nothing is a gift. Like if you lose and Kershaw's not on your playoff, like I don't know from like the optics and kind of respect standpoint if they would do that to him.
This sounds crazy to say out loud. In a 3-game series, 26-man rosters, like it's so much would have to go wrong for that 26th spot to matter. And walk me down the scenario here. If that 26th roster spot matters, which do you think they would prefer? For that to be a pitcher or a hitter or a pinch hitter or a pinch runner, right? Like the only scenario where that spot matters to me is if it's a pitcher. Like I'm not going to get to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that they don't have Michael Conforto available to pinch hit right now. I cannot believe that Justin Dean isn't available to come pinch run here. Like I'm going to be like, I can't believe we're in the 15th inning and they freaking took 2 pinch runners and we don't have anybody that can eat innings right now. Like that's the nightmare scenario in a 3-game series to me in a sport that now everybody gets the DH.
Yeah. I mean, like that could, obviously like that's certainly the position you wouldn't want to find yourself in. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, it's going to be interesting. I think opponent and matchups and stuff like that also is going to be a factor in stuff like this, especially deciding probably amongst all the lefties that they have, like whose pitch mix is better suited to, go against, I guess let's call it the Mets right now, since that's what it looks like. Stuff like that. Tanner Scott, I mean, like, look, I know you had him on the he's making it. Like, there's no, in my opinion.
Look, I if Tanner Scott comes out of the bullpen in October, I honestly don't think I'm going to hate it. Like, I know that sounds psychotic. I know it sounds psychotic, but I don't think I'm going to hate it.
I mean, I tried telling you he's on a hot streak, and you were making fun of me for saying
I didn't make fun. I just asked questions.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So, do you trust Tanner Scott more than Anthony Bonda or less?
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I mean,
he's on a hot streak. My friend told me he's on a hot streak, so keep that.
I did hear that. Yeah, many people are saying that. Can you ask me again at the end of the season?
I need to see. There's no fence. There's no fence sitting here, Moreno. Scott or Bonda. Your life depends on getting 3 outs.
Oh, geez. Right now, I'll still take Bonda, but it could change in another day or two.
I'm kind of surprised you had to think about it that long. Like, Bonda got a 1-2-3 inning tonight. I wanted Bonda back out there for the 9th. If I watch a reliever get 3 outs, Matt, I'm on 11 pitches. Why am I taking my chances with another one of these dudes out there? Investia was great and it worked out, but I'm just saying the way this group has pitched, it doesn't matter if you've been good for the last 15 years of your life. There's just roll the dice. If I see a guy that gets 3 outs and didn't throw balls, just throw him out there again. That's what I would have done. But, October, as you say.
Yeah. Worked. They got the win.
Okay. Rock Stewart, we still think he's going to be back?
Yes. I think he was. Do you have the OKC box score still up by any chance? Are they still playing, or I forgot? Yeah, it's late for them, so they might be done. He should have made his second appearance today. So if he did, he's back. If he didn't, something happened and he's not back.
Bad news is if he pitched in this game, it might not have been good. Final score 12-10. We're looking up the box right now, though. Okay. Alex Freeland, 3-run homer. Shout out to him. Okay, comments. Here we go. Andrew Heaney, 2 shutout. Brock. You want the good version or the bad version of his box score?
His arm he pitched. It's all good, so it doesn't matter.
No earned runs, Moreno. No earned runs.
Then that's fine. Then that's it.
4 runs, but none of them were earned.
Not his fault then.
A gentleman by the name of Penrod, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 earned, no outs for him. So rough night for him. But yeah, Kyle Hurt, a perfect inning with the strikeout. Gervais, 4 walks. He would have been nice today, huh? 4 outs, 4 walks. I mean, this guy got the LA Dodgers mix. And hold on a second. You know who closed this bad boy out, Moreno? 12-10 game. Do you know who got the save?
Bobby Miller.
B. Millie, baby. 2 outs, 2 strikeouts, no hits, no walks.
I happened
to rate of 5.72 for those who are curious.
Yeah, I happened to look at his game logs the other night because I was curious to see how things had been going, and it's kind of the same, like a little bit of a roller coaster. So yeah. Anyway,
Andrew Heaney, playoff roster. Andrew Heaney
maybe
or Michael Kopech. You had to have one of these guys on the postseason roster. Who do you want?
I mean, everybody's going to say Heaney, but I'm going Kopech. They have a bunch of lefties.
I like it. Don't get swayed by the people, Matt.
No, never. Independent thinker over here.
Yeah, I like that about you. Kyle Hurt, he's nasty. I think he's a dude.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is Dave was discussing him, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago, and he said Brock is going to be back and get into games, and he said, potentially Kyle Hurt as well. I'm concerned. I don't know if the Dodgers will go from Kyle Hurt not pitching in any major league games to he's on the postseason roster all of a sudden, and we're running out of time for him to get his sea legs, if you will, with the rehab games, and then also pitch at the major league level. But part of me started to wonder if something was up with Kopech because he hadn't pitched since the 14th.
Yeah. And my sources are saying, by the way, Matt, that Kopech, I believe, has a sore oblique, and that Kirby Yates, his forearm on his non-pitching arm, is beginning to get a little sore. So it's just something to monitor. in the coming days if they happen to need a roster spot for Roki Sasaki after Sunday, or Kyle Hurt, or Ben Kasparius. Just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, perhaps. I do think that there might be something off or up with Kopech.
I could confirm something is
It's-
off with Michael.
No,
Kopech.
and also like potential injury, I think.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
initial, like physical, maybe not a full-blown injury, but some sort of ailment.
We're past the hour mark here. Kopech debuted nose piercing today. For those that were not watching on TV, was it
Yeah,
debuted? Had he had this before?
I didn't honestly. I wasn't paying attention mainly because I was like today was a busy day for us with the Kershaw news and then just trying to get things in order. So I honestly didn't see it. I was more listening to the game at that point. I did see people on Twitter talking about it.
I just
It's
saw
an
on
interesting
Twitter.
choice to
Yeah.
pitch with it. Like if you're gonna get one, like that's certainly his prerogative. But then to also pitch with it is like it's interesting.
Here's my only take, Matt. You ready for my take on this? Are you ready for it or not?
I don't think that I am, but let's hear it anyway.
I don't like the word septum. It was on my Twitter timeline a lot. That's apparently what this part of your nose is called.
Oh, I didn't
I don't
see
like
that.
that name. It
Yeah,
just that's like it's like the word moist. I get the heebie-jeebies reading and hearing the word. So that's my take on Michael Kopech's nose ring. And I wish he would throw more strikes. That's my take. So there you go. Okay.
Wait, there was a comment before. Sorry, apologies to the super chats. There, Paul Abbott. I'm not sure if this was like written ironically. You want to read it?
I'm not sure what the Tanner Scott hate is all about. The Dodgers have won most of his blown saves this year. If that's with a straight face and a real take, Paul, that's fantastic. Paul interacts with me a little on Twitter, and I believe this is a joke. I'm pretty confident, and it's a good one. It's a good one, but I almost want to believe it's real. So there you go. We appreciate you, Paul. JY, super chat. I've always said Roki is smart and will figure it out. He just needed time. Having said that, I'd prefer the team not rush him this year. Again, my caution with Roki Sasaki would be this. Velocity on his fastball is absolutely a good thing. A 99-mile-an-hour fastball is unequivocally better than a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. The smart people who talk about pitching would tell you the issue has been less his velocity, although it has been velocity, and more the shape of it. It is so flat that it was like literally the worst graded fastball in Major League Baseball. So yes, velocity is going to help. I would just because it's 100 miles an hour does not mean that it's going to get guys out at the major league level. It might, but
yeah. If Sasaki ends up in the bullpen come October, you're going to need to bring Lance on. I think he might want to do a little bit of a victory lap because I know he took a beating when he had him on and he said, maybe reliever is in his future at some point.
I like it. Our guy Lance. Jedi, you guys are forgetting Kershaw can get a pinch hit home run. That's his role in the wild card. You know what, Jedi Engineer? Comment of the night for sure. Aaron says, be honest. Aaron, we're always honest with you. We tell you the truth. Matt, do you think the bullpen gets right? Do you think this is a group that the Dodgers have a 3-1 lead going into the 7th inning? They need 9 outs of their bullpen in game 3 of the wild card series. Are you going to feel good?
Yeah.
I like that. You said it so quickly after pausing for like 32 seconds on the last 2 questions I asked that I'm almost concerned about how quickly you answered that question.
No, I told you when Oral brought up that they just need 3 or 4 reliever, whatever. I started putting my pitching staff trust tree together, and there's guys on there that they're
right now. Who's your 4? Vesia.
Yeah, who did we had Vesia, Trinan, Scott,
and Dreyer. That's your 4.
Yeah.
What about
like Sheehan too. Like he's a starter, but like he's technically I think he's like I keep saying he's going to the bullpen. So there's 5 relievers there. So they'll be good.
Brock Stewart could be 6. Bonda's been really good. That's 7. All of a sudden we're gonna have too many choices out there. That's gonna be Doctober's issue.
Exactly. They're gonna be bullpenning games again, just like last year.
They just forget it. We love so many guys in the bullpen. We're sorry, Tyler. Glass, now you're not even going to be on the roster. We like Bonda that much in the 3rd. Phil says if Ohtani can't go 7, it's basically a wasted start in light of the bullpen issues, who are giving up 4+ runs routinely. This is part of why they need to figure out stuff with Sheehan now and not wait. I think if a guy can get you 6, that's pretty much the best you're ever going to ask for from a guy in the postseason. Now, the Dodgers bullpen might be bad enough that they stretch that, but Ohtani's 5 or 6 is going to be so good that I'm not going to sit him out in hopes that Kershaw can get me 7. Like, I'll take the 5 from Ohtani, knowing there's a decent chance it's like 2 hits and 8 Ks. And we just named 12 relievers that we love in the Dodgers bullpen. So that's my take. I think he can get me 6, and that's plenty for me.
Yeah, I'm not with the concern, the hesitation, the pause, whatever you want to call it with Sheen. Like, I think it's fine. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk briefly. Let's do questions, all caps questions. I mentioned it. We are going to be doing a live show, Daniel Starkin and I, tomorrow night following Clayton Kershaw's final Dodger Stadium regular season start. So hopefully you already had tickets for Friday, because those tickets, I cannot imagine what the prices have done in the last 12 hours. As we fill in the questions here, Matt, we do have his press conference up on the Dodger Blue 1958 YouTube page. Again, Blake Williams was there covering that. It was fantastic. I was glad it was not as emotional as I was worried it was going to be. I was expecting myself to cry. I did not. Kershaw cried a little bit. He said he was moved that the fact that his teammates were there. There was a huge contingent of teammates. Dave Roberts was there for the press conference, all of that. I'm curious for you, was there anything that jumped out to you about what he said, or the fact that he made this decision, the day before his final regular season home start?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, you mentioned it was so packed that poor Mookie and Ohtani needed to stand at the back of the room, hanging out like just inside the door frame.
Were they inside the door?
Mookie definitely was. Ohtani is like sort of in the door frame, maybe just a foot in.
I had a troll on Twitter coming at me and saying these guys are bad teammates because Ohtani and Betts weren't there. And I'm like, how do you know they weren't there? And he linked me to a video that somebody, I don't think it was the video Blake took, but like literally you see the back of 6 people. And he's like, that's where they should have been sitting. If they cared about Kershaw, they would have been sitting there. I'm like, I cannot believe the levels that people will go to hate Ohtani and Mookie Betts, of all people. Bizarre. So anyways, continue.
Yeah, look, we should have known. Mookie's speed has been discussed ad nauseum this year, so we should have known he wasn't going to be the front row.
Weston Dean beat him there.
Yeah. So back to your question. The main thing that surprised me, and again, it could just be my own sort of reading into it, just based on a lot of the conversation we've had tonight and different ones that we've been having on our shows, was Kershaw, mentioning that he's not sure like what's going to happen in the playoffs, and so that's why he wanted to, go public with this at this point when he did, to kind of have look like everybody, and it makes sense. I guess he could and should start against the Mariners before the season ends.
Don't tell me that. I might have to go buy some Seattle Mariners tickets. I didn't even do the math that might be Kershaw.
I mean, yeah, the problem is I'm not sure what day it would be.
It'd probably be Friday. That'd be 7 days after his last one.
Well, might need to look into it. I lost my train of thought. But so right. I think it's been called the final regular season start. It could just be his final start at Dodger Stadium, period. Like, and him sort of saying like, we don't know what's going to happen. We have a lot of pitchers. That was the most interesting thing to me. But again, it could just be me reading into it a little bit. And it was, potentially just an innocent comment.
Yeah. I'm with you. I do think you're probably, it's assuredly his last start ever at Dodger Stadium, I would say. Like, I think it would be, a lot would have to go. I mean, right or wrong, I guess this is the me and Greg Bergman debate about Kershaw starting a postseason run. I think they're going to be able to get by with 4. That's my take. I know that's not everybody. But I would be surprised if Clayton Kershaw makes another start at Dodger Stadium. Not that I don't think they're going to win the World Series. I would pick them to win the World Series. I'm just saying I think they can get there with 4 starting pitchers if they time the rest the way that they probably will. So Kershaw's awesome. I'm glad he's going to get celebrated. That's my big thing. He seemed like the type of guy I was slightly fearful was just going to like finish the season and then be like, yeah, and that was it for me. I really appreciate everybody. And I'm glad that he's going to get a moment tomorrow for sure. When he comes out of the game, it better be the longest freaking standing ovation in Dodger Stadium history. That's all I'm saying, people. And then I believe it's on Sunday. They're going to have like a thank you message from Clayton Kershaw to the fans. So he's going to get celebrated all weekend, as he should. Kudos to him for
bobblehead on Saturday. It's Kershaw weekend at the stadium.
I love it. It should be. It should be Kershaw year They should give away Kershaw bobbleheads every day next year for the entire year. But kudos to Kershaw for not being the guy that, like, who was it in the NBA that did like the full year like tour? Was it Carmelo? Like, it was somebody where it was like every place they went. Oh, and it was Rivera. Rivera do that in baseball, or did Jeter?
He did. Yeah, he did do. Vince Carter did it, I think, or did he not?
I don't know. I'm just saying kudos to Kershaw. He's going to get his moment on Friday. He's going to get his moment on Sunday. And then he's going to go out and he's going to win a World Series. So shout out to our guy Kershaw. We'll talk more about that tomorrow again, post game.
EC thinks we're picking on Kobe. Kobe did not. He did similar to Kershaw. Kobe announced his late in the year as well.
Picking on Kobe. Come on now. Come on. Do I need to go get my number 8 jersey for the people? Come on. All right, let's get to some questions. Oh, we got some food ones in here. I love that.
Hopefully, Manuel's here for the food, so let's wait to get to those until he's back. I haven't seen him commenting yet. So
Derek wants to know if you could pick one reliever who needs to get incredibly hot. Who would it be? I think this is an easy one.
I mean, it's Tanner
well, actually,
Scott.
One
He's
of them has already gotten
He's already
hot.
doing it. Yes,
Yeah,
Tanner Scott is starting to trend upward.
Okay, so other than Tanner Scott, since he's already hot, he would not need to get hot. It's like you don't have to get ready if you are ready.
True.
So,
Trinan.
I mean, Trinan with 2 strikeouts to end this. It's a hot streak. Have you seen the last 2 hitters he faced, Moreno? What are we talking about here?
True. Brock Stewart. Then
Brock Stewart.
Can we
Definitely
go
not
him
right now? Sneaky though. Brock Stewart would be a huge weapon if he goes back to as good as he was pitching prior to the Dodgers traded for him. That'd be a big one. Larry wants to know if Ben is the backup catcher next year, should Russian transition into a platoon role in left field? Will Ben be a Dodger next year, Matt? Yes.
No, yeah. Look, as much as I have Ben Rortvedt ahead of Dalton Rushing on the depth chart right now, like looking at next season with Rortvedt, like that's way too much.
Do you think we can lock him down for 6 years and $70 million and get ahead of the big extension Ben would be getting 2 years from now? Do you think we can just lock it in now?
I mean, they got a deal done with Miggy on FanFest Day, so why not?
There you go. So you're predicting Ben not a Dodger in 2026? Is that what I'm hearing?
He'll be in the organization.
Okay. Oh, okay. Kept on the. Well, he has no options.
Well, he'll
so
get
you're
DFA.
saying he signs a minor league deal?
Yeah, I think he'll want to stick around. I think they'll put feelers out, like, "Hey, don't claim me," type thing. Let me clear waivers. Not that stuff happens, but if it did.
Matt says Rortvedt's going to clear waivers. There we go. Cole asks, with Kershaw's retirement, does that make the Dodgers buyers in the starting pitching market this offseason? The answer is no. They have 1,800 starting pitchers that will allegedly be healthy to start next season. It's Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, and Ohtani. It's Emmett Sheehan. It's Justin Robleski. It's River Ryan. It's Gavin Stone. It's Kyle
Bobby
Hurt.
Miller.
It's Kyle Hurt. It's
Kyle Hurt. Kyle Hurt's starting days are behind him.
Oh, you might be right. I'm just saying it's in the mix. So yeah, they've got a lot of guys, and some of them are pretty good. Scooter, would you rather face the Mets or the Cubs in the wild card?
I don't have I don't really care. No preference.
Probably the Mets. That'd be my answer. Roger wants to know Ohtani closing in on his 4th MVP. Don't watch ESPN. They'll tell you it's up for debate still. Do you think he catches Bond's 7 before he retires?
No.
I say yes. I mean, literally, if he plays 150 games, he's going to win the MVP every year.
I think voter
Unless he
fatigue will
stops
set
pitching.
it. Voter fatigue will set it. I think he gets to 6.
Yeah, I think he goes over. I think if he's pitching and hitting and stays healthy, it's like a lock of all locks. If you can get plus money on Ohtani to win an MVP in any year of the next 6, take the money. That would be my advice. So maybe I'm wrong. Okay, a couple food questions. We'll get out of here. Aaron wants to know, what's your in and out order? I go animal style on fries and a double, triple double if I feel frisky. No pickles or tomatoes on the burger. This is a hot take. Apparently, I'm not a big animal style fries guy. So I think their fries are fine, but if you get them light well, it makes it better. Covered in spread, I'm good with that. So it's regular fries, light well for me. It's a double animal style, no pickles. Or sometimes if I'm a little hungrier, I'll go 2 cheeseburgers, animal style, no pickles, just to, spread things out a little bit. I don't mind the veggies. So
why don't you just get a 4x4 at that point?
No, 2 cheeseburgers, not 2 double doubles, 2 cheeseburgers. So we're still doing 2 patties.
Oh, I see. Oh, got it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're just doubling up on the veggies because we're going to In-N-Out trying to be healthy.
Makes sense.
So
I don't do animal style fries. I like my fries well done on occasion. The closest In-N-Out to me struggles with that though. I like well done. My wife likes light well done, and
your wife's smart.
we either both get them light well, or we both get them well, or we get them regular. And 9 times out of 10, they were just made regular, and so neither one of us are getting the fries the way we wanted them. I've been known to have a 3x4 because it's the 3x3, but I like a little extra cheese in there, so I add a slice of cheese to that.
You're just saying that because you want to try and make the whole Jeff doesn't like cheese thing again.
No, not at all. No, that's genuinely.
Did you notice, by the way, that I said a double and cheeseburgers?
I did not notice that, but that's good that you're branching out and giving cheese, a chance here.
Just wanted to check. David wants to know, just got a Shake Shack in our area, yay or nay?
Yeah, no, not a fan. I said this, when one opened up near me recently, and I was excited. I went and I realized I don't care for the smash burger style is what it was. Their fries, their cheese fries are good, and their cheese sauce is good, but the burger I thought was kind of whatever.
I like Shake Shack. I think it's really good. It's just expensive. So given the choice, give me In-N-Out every single day. Last question here. Cole wants to know, which pose do they go with for Kershaw's statue at Dodger Stadium? Is it hands up over the head? Is it, is he holding a World Series trophy potentially? We've got some bobblehead poses. I've got Kershaw hitting. Maybe it's with the bat in his hand. Matt, what do you think? What are you going with?
That one's probably not making the cut. It's tough. Like I could see them doing the arms up celebration after his no hitter.
Okay, it's a good one. That's a great one.
I think
it does feel like it's usually tied to a moment, so I could see that. That's a great call by you.
The problem that I feel with those though is like it's a little too on the nose and like too obvious. Like we need deeper cuts here. I like the idea of holding a World Series trophy. Like that'd be different and cool.
All three World Series trophies.
Sure. Or I do like in his delivery with his arms up and his knee up as well, like kind of at the middle point of it. I think that would be cool and different. Just not the Lakers did. Do you remember the Elgin Baylor one where it's like it's supposed to be a moving statue, so there's like they look like tentacles like coming off his arm because he's supposed to be like in motion. It just looked kind of odd. Look at it.
Here's what I would ask: Dodgers, whoever does any of the NBA statues, just don't consult that person.
Yeah,
like they're a disappointment.
Well, the Kobe ones have been okay.
That's fine. They're fine. I mean, Kobe's great. It's not.
But the Dodgers have typically like they've had the Jackie, the Sandy, like those statues they've been fine. Like they haven't.
They're great.
But great. Yes, you bring up a very good point.
David says curveball. I mean the curveball. If the statue was a pitch, again, but this is the debate, right? Because some people say, and they're not wrong, that the slider is the reason his career continues. However, the curveball feels to me still like it's his more famous pitch because of Public Enemy #1 and Vince Scully. So it's a fun debate. But for a statue, you can't really have a pitch in there. So there you go. Dodger for life on the plaque. Rod Wilson says it's great. He was asked about that and he said he loved it. So shout out to Kershaw for making the right decision on that one. So a curveball fountain. There you go. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that could be cool. And I see we're getting asked if this is live. Yes, we are. We are still
live for 18 more seconds. We'll be live. No, we appreciate everybody for hopping in. Over 2,000 people in here with us live. Again, the Dodgers win. Magic number down to just 6. Magic number to make the playoffs down to just 1 as the Padres lost to the Mets today. So good news for the Dodgers. Again, bullpen shaky, gets the job done. Yamamoto shaky, gets the job done. Offense shaky, gets the job done. They win 2-1. That's the important part. Alex Vesia, not shaky. Anthony Bonda, not shaky. Jack Dreyer, not shaky. Everybody else, shaky. So Dodgers win, though. That's the good news. If you missed the announcement, tomorrow is Clayton Kershaw's final regular season start at Dodger Stadium, potentially his final start ever at Dodger Stadium. We will be live on this channel after that game ends, myself and Daniel Starkin. So make sure you are here with us to celebrate that one, to break it all down. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. That is Matthew Moreno. I am Jeff Spiegel. If you missed the Kershaw press conference, stay right here on the Dodger Blue 1958 YouTube page and check that out. You can follow us on social media at Dodger Blue 1958 as well. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. As always, go Dodgers. And yes, still champs.